Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing okay. I am just going to get my iPad set up. All right, let me know if someone can let me know when they're in the chat so then I know everyone can see me and hear me. Yes. And I'm just going to continue to just grab a few supplies. Hey Clint, how you doing? All right, so I'm just going to wait a couple minutes. I'm going to grab a few things. Hello, Biddy. Hello, Darcy. Let me know if you can hear me. I am going to just continue to grab some supplies here because, we just kind of winged it because that's what we do. Today, though, we are going to do an ink smushed background. And then while that one's drying, I have others here that we are going to play with. And the stamps that I'm going to be using are my leaves and my snowflakes. I was very inspired by Sean video last Sunday that was after mine with just one of the beautiful samples. I mean, they were all amazing. But there was just one that inspired me, and it's a technique that we all do and all that just to get a watercolor look. So our cards are going to have those background segments, so to speak. But the ink smushed, we're just going to do all kinds of fun with it, add layers. So like a messy mixed media thing. I'm not quite sure where we're going because that's what this is about. To just have fun. We're going to play, grab those supplies, and just see what we come up with. Because you never know. Nope, you just never know. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to need is my water bottle. All right, so I'm going to use my Canson XL watercolor paper here. I have my silicone mat down on my surface. I will remove that once we're done ink smushing this one background. And whenever I ink smush, I just do large sheets because then I can cut it down. And I usually grab 2 of them because we can't waste the ink. This one's going to have a blue tone to it for the snowflakes. Maybe a hint of another color that we want to pull in. But we're just going to have fun with the colors. And the last thing I have to set up before we get started is my heat gun, or my heat tool. So let me get that plugged in. Okay. So I hope everyone's doing okay, having a wonderful day. Still hoping everyone is safe and all of that important stuff. Okay, so I'm going to use my Distress inks, and I'm going to stay light. We're just going to stay light with them. Now, when I ink smush, I like to work on a silicone mat. Your silicone mat, you can work on a glass surface. Absolutely your preference with how you want to work that. All right, so those are the colors that we're going to use. And I don't know. May add that one as the shocker. You can definitely use a glass surface. When you use a glass surface and you're doing your ink smushing, you're going to get more of a watercolor look to it rather than a splotty effect, which is kind of what I gravitate to. So splatters, splotches, it all depends on how that comes out, you know, layer after layer. I do like the splatter effect. It's not the blizzard that I like to create, but I just like that look. The more water you add to a silicone mat, the more of a watercolor look that you will get. So whatever you prefer, by all means, do you. Have fun with it. Hello, Dawn. How are you? I hope everything is going well. Okay, so let's get this rolling. I'm going to start out with some tumbled glass. And when I do the ink smushing, you can do it in layers. This time I'm actually going to do each color individually. I just take the ink pad, I squish down some colors. I'll add my water. So this is going to be very light in color because I want to build it. I just want to build that. So here's our first sheet. And when I ink smush, I go straight down, I push, and I lift it back up. So you can see all of that splattered effect. With the second, to get the rest of the ink, I'm just going to put a little bit more water down, a little bit more of the ink pad, and then I'm going to do it again, and then that will pick up the rest. Now you can tell when I just push down, I'm just pushing down. I'm not shifting it. I'm not doing anything like that. And then I peel it up like we would a stencil. So this is a little bit darker because I added the ink a little later to the panel. So I got most of that ink up. We'll just wipe it down. And I'm just going to hit this lightly with my heat tool here. And just let that dry just a little bit. You can layer any color you want on top of each other as long as you dry the layers in between. If the layers are still wet, as you continue to add your ink smushed layers, if you have like a yellow and a purple, you will get that brown tone. So as long as and it's not a perfect science when it comes to this. So Even though if you put your purple down first or your yellow and then you come in with one of those colors on top, you may get a hint of the brown, but you will also see the separate of those colors. So you just want your panel as dry as possible before you come in with the next layer. Now, I'm not going to worry about these too much because I'm coming in with light colors. I'm coming in with blues, with teals, and then I'll make sure that the panels are really dry if I come in with that saltwater taffy, because that's going to be extremely interesting. The next color I'm going to come in with is Broken China. I'm going to use that a little bit more sparingly because it is a darker color. I know you're all amazed it's not Uncharted Mariner. I love Uncharted Mariner. But that will be coming in. I'm going to add a little bit more water than before. And you can see there's still spots going on there. You can come in with a brush and mix it if you want a somewhat smoother look. So let's do that. Set that up. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our panel, we're going to drop it, push down, lift up. And now the blotches are getting bigger and they're going to start running and all of that fun stuff. You can also, and I'm going to leave that the way that that is, just going to push down and lift up. So this one's just a little bit lighter. And doing ink smushing is like pancakes. The first one in pancakes never comes out right. It never does. But your second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on do. Ink smushing's kind of the same thing. It kind of works the same way. So don't be surprised when you see your different panels, the different looks that you're going to get. I'm not going to dry between those layers. I'm now going to come in with salvaged patina. Hello, Cordelia. How are you doing? Hello, Darlene. Yes, I'm catching up with, I'm trying to open this on the comments there. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to tap it down. Now, you can use dye ink refills for this. You can use sprays if you have sprays. Just want to make sure that whatever you're using is water reactive. You can use acrylic paints. You just need to mix them up with water and spread them around. But you can see that silicone mat's going to give you the bubbles. The water bubbles up onto it. So I'm going to come in with the second one. And I'm going to press, push, not swirl, and lift. And now we just have that hint of patina back in there. This here, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more in the areas where there's no drops. And if there are drops, the water going into your ink pad, I've never had an issue, never had a problem. And now this one you can see still has a lot of moisture, but that's okay. We're going to drop, go down. For ink smushing, you can use watercolor paper, you can use Bristol papers, but you do want a cardstock that can take water. You could use mixed media paper. I do not recommend, I'm going to grab a third sheet because there's a lot of ink on here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do this now, and you'll see. So I'm just dragging it along. The silicone mat is just suctioning up that paper. And now you can see the swirl that's going on in there. So you don't necessarily get the bobbles until I dip back down into it. Okay. So you can get a watercolor look effect if you use a silicone mat. For the next layer, I do want to dry just a little bit. So we're going to hit this. Hello, Ave. How are you doing? Thank you for joining today. I know, Kadrila. I'm still trying to wake up too, but I'm more of a morning person. So I do wake up extremely early. But so many things are going on. So many wonderful things are going on. And yes, some of them is, it's life. Life has to join us once in a while. I'm glad you're here for the live too. Dawn, that's awesome. So again, if you don't dry in between and you've got light colors, you're just going to continue to build the watercolor look that you're going to get on your panel. And I don't make sure that they're super dry, just the majority of them. This one here is just a little bit wetter. You can come in with a towel if you want the big drips to go away. And then you'll get those hard lines. So it's always what you prefer. Your Desiree stamps are already stained. Well, I'm hoping that means that you are enjoying them. Thank you so much. I can't say thank you enough to everyone. The next color I'm coming in is Evergreen Bough. So this one's going to be just a little bit darker and it's going to have more of a green tint. So I'm going to play around with this layer. I want to keep the backgrounds somewhat light so that the stamping that I do on top, and it's the watercolor stamping, where we use a reactive dye ink, spray it with water on our stamp, and we see what we get. Alright, so I'm going to come in with this one. Again, push down, push, lift up. And now we've got that little bit of green coming in here just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more, and I don't think the saltwater taffy is going to come in. I'm not feeling it. Maybe. You never know. Always change our minds, right? We're going to mix this one around. And by mixing it, you can see you get the bigger droplets. They're not going to be as fine. And we're going to do it again with this one. Want those droplets to spread out just a little bit. Now, since this is wet, I mean, it's a great effect. It absolutely is. Now, if I take my brush over this, I'm still going to get the underneath. Don't overwork it, but I can stretch that color across this. And I'm using a fan brush for this. And now you can just let it alone to get that effect. So I like that better than the big droplets that I had before. This one I'm okay with because the droplets are small. So we're going to set those aside, but now I'm going to come in with this one. I keep lifting, smooshing down. I'm going to turn it and get up all the rest of my ink. And do the same thing. just brush down onto it. And what it's doing is taking those droplets and spreading them out. But you can still see the underneath because it was dry. Now, if I kept on doing that with my brush, I would wipe away those droplets. Because again, it's water reactive. Alright, so that's our ink smush. Saltwater taffy may make a presence in the snow blizzard that I feel that's going to come in for the snowflakes. Alright, so I'm going to move this. Good morning. Good morning, Dana. See. Yes, Ave, I am using Canson XL watercolor paper. All right, now that's out of our way. I need a big stamp block. I am not going to use my stamp positioner. We're going to use a large stamping block. All right. And I'm going to let those blue panels, that's what we'll call them. We'll call them the blue panels, dry. And we're going to work off of those large panels. I'm not going to cut them down. All right, so let's pull in these. I'm going to work on the leaves first. And I think I'm going to work on this one. And maybe that one. Okay. Now, this one I'm going to need something really dark so that it will show up. Now, you can certainly stamp your image right on top of this and just heat emboss it. Yep. And it would look absolutely amazing. And then you could come in and add more watercolor on top. So maybe that's what we'll do with that one, because I kind of like that idea. What do you think? So now I'm grabbing dark distress inks. Dark reds, dark greens, of course a dark purple, and finally the dark brown. Okay, so the dark colors that I grabbed are Scorched Timber, Villainous Potion, and Aged Mahogany, and Forest Moss. These are the four that we are going to focus on. Now, let me grab, I am going to use my stamp positioner on this one. So let's focus on the leaves. We'll see how many cards we can get. Oh my, already running out of room. Okay, here we go. So I do like the sticky mats. And I'm going to place this in here. And I'm going to use gold embossing powder. Grab my clear. I'm not going to add any anti-static powder to that, because I like the little flecks laying around. Let's see. Oops. Fuzzy. And I'm just going to place my leaves on the panel. So we can angle these. I do want to create, and I'm going to have that one come in upside down. Now, what's great with your dye inks as well is you can use them as watercolors. And I always do, if I do a panel like this, I like the stamps to go off the panel, just in case I don't cut it down, because that would be great for a 5x7 base. We're going to pick these up. Cordelia, is it your birthday? Well, happy birthday. I won't sing. You don't want to hear me that. That is way too early on that one. Way too early, but happy birthday. Thank you so much for being here on your birthday. And yes, Avi, what I did roll up, that is a silicone mat. All right, so let's get these inked. Now, you're not going to see how they ink down. You saw how I laid them out. I'm just going to press down. And then I do like to stamp them a couple times to make sure. Now, I will not be cooking any cards today like our Biddy. Yep, no. Nope. I'm just loving the whole concept of cooking cards to emboss them. So I will do just a little bit of an annoying sound with my heat gun. But I think it is just amazing of how creative we can all be with kitchen appliances. Just say, because the silicone mat is a baking silicone mat. You know, just get one of those. All right, we're going to lift this up. And I like to put my magnet in the center so that when I flip this down, my stamps don't go down onto the sticky mat. Let's get this out of my way. I didn't pull in my little table. The gold that I'm using, I am a huge fan of the Michaels Recollections embossing powders. I think they are phenomenal. And that's what this is. This is the Michaels Recollections Gold. And now I get to annoy you with my heat gun. Hello, Linda. Happy Place Crafting. Dana, Darlene, in case I missed you. I am just so glad you all are here. I did heat this up. I have no idea if you can hear me, but I did heat this up. Okay, noise done. Yeah, okay. Not looking for perfection. I do believe that no matter when you heat your paper, it's going to warp. It's just, unless, I don't know. Biddy, do you get warping when you cook your paper? Okay. Now, this is, I mean, that could be done. It's just, now what would be good too, you could take a piece of vellum on top of this and do your heat embossing on that, and then your vellum pushes back all of your um, ink smushing that's going on back there. But we're gonna pull these out using our, where did this come from? Okay, all right. What? Yep, two magnets just snapped together, and nope, my fingers were not there. So I'm going to go with a red. So I'm using aged mahogany. I think this is my third favorite color. Here is the villainous potion. Yes, that's my second. And we all know what my first favorite color is. Just say. I think my husband believes I drink it. I just. All right. So, got that down. I'm going to grab my water and my brush. Got a brush right here. Let me grab my water. Oh my goodness. Be right back. I'm back. See, this was just like, let's just throw this together. So now I'm just going to paint inside, like Biddy showed yesterday with Winnie, Winnie the Pooh. I'm just going to add color in there. Now, it may affect the background because, again, these were all done with distress inks as well. I think I'm going to do the bottom one with green. And the embossed lines are going to keep this color that we're adding into it. And I'm going to feather it out because I don't want to lose too much of the background. And then I am going to drop some colors in there to let some depth, adds a little bit of dimension with the colors into the center. And then I'm going to come up the stem. So, and already you can see that leaf coming off um, coming off the page. Again, we don't have to add a lot. You can add certainly more to really pull this up. For some reason, this one here, the maple leaf, I always got to have that in purple. I do not know why, but I always got to have it in purple. And there's a lot going on in this one with all of the line work that we did, but it doesn't mean that we can't get our color in there. I'm always starting in the center, and then I'm coming out to the edge. That kind of like feathers it as well. And then again, just filling it in, getting a little bit more depth into those areas, which then pulls out the color of that leaf. And I am adding just a little bit more into this one because of all the gold. It's just going to make that pop out. Again, let's not stress if we go outside the lines. It adds interest. And what I always love to say is, we are not Hallmark. Nope. We are creators. All right, and there's our purple one. Now, I think I am going to go back into my green and just add a little bit more. Just to pull that out just a little bit. Remember, whether you're using watercolors or whether you're using your dye inks to pull in your colors, whatever goes down, it will go lighter when it dries. It dries back. So if you want to come in with another layer, you certainly can. And you'll see that as it dries. The good thing about distress inks, they are very similar to watercolors because they're translucent. So I'm not losing any of the details that sits behind it. And, you know, purple went on top of yellow. I'm not getting mud because it's dry. We'll react just a little bit. And there you go. Just adds a little bit. We're going to let this dry on its own. Just dipped into the purple, but that's okay. Just going to add some splotches here. And let's see what we got. So I'm going to set that one aside. So have your ink smudge background, and then when you stamp your images on top, whether you emboss or not, you can just add a single color and you can get those to really stand out. But keep them soft. Keep them soft as they come out. All right, let me get caught up on some comments. Let's see. Y'all are talking about me. I love it. So, Betty, no, nope, no warping. So when we cook our paper, we don't get warping. I'm good with the warping. I'm just saying, because I'm a klutz. I'm just a klutz. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the embossed vellum is awesome. That was the first time I did a video yesterday on that with the Spellbinders 3D embossing folder, and it was the first time I ever embossed vellum. What was funny was I kept it on top of the cardstock when I embossed it. It really stuck there. I mean, you had to literally like pry it off the cardstock. It was awesome. I don't think I had to do that to glue it down. I think it would have just stayed. But it was, yeah, I love embossed vellum. Absolutely gorgeous. We should all have a long Christmas list, Dawn. Absolutely. My husband cringes every year. A vintage photo, yes. I love my vintage photos. So I try to do a live every Sunday, and that is my goal. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming out in 2025, guys. I'm still going to be here. Still going to be here. And as we get closer to the end of the year, I will be having an announcement to give all the dirt on what's been going on. I know I haven't been posting as much as I usually do. There are reasons for that, and it's all good reasons. I know I'm very excited. I am very much excited. It's a new journey. So, but I do want to keep Sunday lives. anytime. I usually start around 9:30. So I think that's definitely in 2025 going to be a norm. But yeah, um, always keep an eye out. And I just think Sunday's going to be my day. Now, Ave, if we do, for me, if I do one later in the day, then that would be on Saturday when it comes to that. No, there is no stress in crafting. Oh, Linda, thank you. I'm so glad you were excited. Yeah, I kind of like just I'm like, you know what? Let's go live because I don't want to clean. I do not want to clean. Ave, yes, you can stamp these in black. You could absolutely do that, and you could either leave the black or you could add clear embossing if you use the versifying black because it's a fast drying pigment, as weird as that sounds, but it's perfect for embossing. You could also use your versifying black too with gold going on top. I think Biddy did that yesterday. I think she used that, and she did um, when it comes to embossing. And let's see. All right. So we're going to continue to let that dry. And we're going to set that aside. I've got ink here that we're not going to let go to waste. And yes, there's 3 colors sitting on this. This is a silicone mat as well. This is also a baking silicone. I'm going to add some water here. And I'm going to use this one. Now this, I'm just going to keep on squishing it down. Now this paper here that I used is definitely a mixed media paper. Very thin. For some reason, this is very thin mixed media paper. You can see how we got the different colors going on here, but I'm okay with that. And I do like drips, so I will tap the paper. Again, just getting this dry so that I can keep going into to pick up this ink. And that's all I'm doing. I am just sopping this ink up on this piece. Oh, Biddy's cleaning and organizing. Mm-hmm. I think when I organize and clean my craft room, that is, not the house, there's a difference, right? There's a difference when we clean our house and when we clean our craft room. I'm just saying, or our crafty space, whatever that may be. I find I get inspired to do projects. And there you go. See? We sopped all that up. And it just added to the texture of what this background looks like. All right, let's clean that up. All right. Now, we're going to move to our acrylic block. Yes, they are still around. And yes, I still use mine. I am just going to clean. Doing that off to the side. Going to clean the stamps. And I want to layer these. No, I just want to do one at a time. But I was going to get bold there for a minute. All right. If we take, and something just fell in my room and I have no idea what it was. Oh. There we go. So with the remaining splatters, we're just going to pick those up. If we take two colors, and I'm not worried about what's going to mix, what's not going to mix in here. I just want the two dark colors. So I'm actually using aged mahogany and green and the forest moss. Now, I know this is probably like freaking some people out, you know, with the colors. I do not get contamination, or let me put it this way, I don't notice it if there is contamination. I just don't notice it. I'll be honest. Now, before I stamp that on the back, let's see what this really looks like. Right? I'm going to take my water bottle and I'm going to spritz it. Not oversaturate. We're just going to, I'm going to test my sprayer off and I'm going to go 1, 2. And you can see all of these colors are just coming together. We don't want it drippy. And I'm going to stamp it. And I'm going to hold it here for a little bit. This is Canson XL watercolor paper. That's the paper that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to wait. Just let it go a little bit down onto the paper to soak in. And you can see with the greens and the reds, you get this beautiful shade. And now you want to lift straight up. So fingers crossed. And that's what you get. It's a watercolor look without doing any watercolor. It's awesome. Now, if we continue, we can add one more spritz. 2 little ones. Because I still have ink on that stamp. And if I come down, let's stamp this one right here. Again, let it sit here for a minute. Or for like 30 seconds. Give time for that water to go in. Now, if you're using 100% cotton watercolor paper, you don't have to wait this long. This is not 100% cotton paper. So it's like a, I forget, cellulose type paper. So it's going to take a little bit for the water to soak in. And now we've got that print. So, see, just like that, I'm getting inspired to do something completely different. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with the red. Now I'm going to bring in Villainous Potion. Again, I've never noticed any contamination issues with when I do this. Now, I can also turn this over and I can get a look at where the colors are over the white paper. I'm going to take my water, 2 spritzes. You can see the colors are starting to move. And I'm going to flip that. I don't want to drip. And I'm going to come in here. Can you tell I love creating our own backgrounds? And I'm going to hold that down. And notice I didn't clean the stamp. I did not remove the forest moss. We get, hello, Flo. Guys are still talking about it. But yeah, so I find when I clean, I get inspired. Mainly because I found something I forgot I had. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest, right? Lift straight up. And now we have that one. So we're getting all of these colors to come down. And I think we'll do one more. I do want to add just a little bit more color. And actually, I really do like the green. So I'm going to come up with the green. I'm going to come in areas with the purple. And we're going to add some more reds. A couple spritzes. You can see just how that's looking. When I turn, because water's constantly collecting on this. So when I turn my block, I do like to turn it away from over top of the panel. And then now I'm going to squeeze this in here. And again, hold it down. Good morning, Anthony. How are you? All right, and we're going to lift. So you can see the water, as we're moving, is getting more and more collected. But I like that. See, I like that look. And for this one, I'm just going to add one spritz. I'm going to dab some of the water off of the side of the stamp, not the stamp. And I'm just going to come in on the top here to finish out our background. Again, just hold it just for a few seconds. Let it get in there. And there you go. So you will get a watercolor look without doing watercolor. Just make sure your dye inks or the inks that you're using are water reactive. This would not work with pigment inks. And I don't believe it will work with the Simon Says ink pads. The Positively ink pads, yes. But their original ink pads, no. I could be wrong with that. Hello, Denise. Well, that's okay. Sleep is good. Sleep is a good thing. And there we go. Now you can certainly put, one more down in here as well, but I got 5. I always do odd numbers. All right, so there's that. You can do the same thing on this. It just won't be seen as well. You can see how soft those colors are when it comes to this. All right, but this, you really want to do something like this in there. And we can still do those things. So when we stamp, we're going to stamp this whole panel, and I'm going to have fun with all of the inks. So let me get this cleaned up. How far are we in? Oh, okay. We're already an hour in. Who knew? And then just to clean the stamp, I like to just take a microfiber cloth and just damp it. Just dab at it. I don't like to wipe across them with my cloths. I don't know how everybody does that. I get fuzzies all over the place. And I come in with the squeaky chamois. All right, now let's have some fun with this panel. And we are just going to stamp away. absolutely stamp away. So we're going to stamp, we're going to heat emboss, stamp, and we're going to heat emboss. Where? Okay, I found it. And if everyone can hear my belly, I am so sorry. That was a good rumble that I got going on there. All right. Had to take a drink. All right, let's start this one here. Now, I'm really pressing down because I don't have a squishy surface underneath me. I didn't grab one. And when I do this with clear ink and I can't see it, I stamp, I add my powder, I stamp, I add my powder, and then I keep going. Just to see what I got. Now, this paper, keep in mind, is also very warped. So I may not get perfect impressions, but that's okay. I am absolutely okay with that. Now, like I said, I work in threes. So I'm going to put one here. And I'm going with the perfect imperfection. So for me, perfect imperfection is vintage. It's distressed. And then we're going to do one more. So this, you have all seen me do masterboards where we take scraps of paper and layer them. And you've all seen Biddy do them as well. You know, we take scraps of paper, whether it's book pages, pattern paper, all those things. And we just keep layering them. And then I like to stamp and add splatters and all of that fun goodness to it when we do this. This, you can do the same thing with your stamps. Here's an ink smushed background. So this is like a mixed media type masterboard. Do your ink smushing. Get all of those colors down that you like. All right, this one I'm going to put here. Then stamp and emboss whatever you want to do. In this case, we're embossing. And then when it comes to your splatters and all of that, that you want to do last. Or at least I do. I do all that stuff last. Make sure they're going in different ways. Go off your paper. Well, since this is so coiled, we're going to do a little bit of yoga here. There we go. Well, we might have a double image on that one. Sean! Yes, Sean, you and Biddy had inspired some of these cards with the techniques that you did. I thought you were traveling, Sean. And then, yes, we're going to do 3. And again, I'm pressing down because I don't have a squishy surface. And honestly, I don't feel like going to get it. When the crafty mood takes us, we go with it, right? And one more, and we're going to fill in with this stamp. I don't think, well, yeah, no, I can get 3. Because we're going to squeeze this one down here. So even if you don't have pattern paper or any of that stuff that you see we use, you can still create your own masterboard. Absolutely. We're going to squeeze that right there. And you can do this with any stamps. Snowmen, bows, little critters. Because basically what you're doing is you're creating your own pattern paper. It's what we're doing. Now, this masterboard, of course, just takes a little longer, you know. And then just one more, and we're going to see if I can squeeze this down in here. But I really want it to get, well, you know what, it's going to have to go this way. Get that out of our way. All right, let's see what this looks like. Sorry, I have to turn on my horrible sound again of my thing. All right, I think I got everything. I like to roll the paper. This is really thin mixed media paper. I am not sure what this is, but wow, she is thin. There we go. So that's what she looks like so far. Now, I'm curious though. What would happen if hee 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 hee. I wonder what would happen if we did this style of stamping on this in the brown. Wonder if that would be too busy. What do you think? You all are talking about food. We're going to try something. With the one... no. Yes. We're going to keep going with the... Mm-hmm. Is that going to fit? Of course it won't. Yep, it will. All right, so we're going to do, we're not going to stamp with the leaves. I'm going to, all right, y'all are making me, okay, who said bacon? Denise, I love it the way it is. Okay. So all right. Wow. Now I am just completely hungry. I am just saying I am completely hungry. I'm going to come in with scorched timber. I cannot watch the feed. Nope. So I'm going to come in with scorched timber, and I'm going to use the large sentiment in this set that says grateful. We're going to spritz it just a couple times. And again, it's a masterboard concept because we're going to cut this up. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to stamp this down. I'm going to wait again a few seconds to let that go down onto the paper. Yeah, see? Just said. And I'm going to lift. And see how the embossed cuts into it. So it's going to be very broken. Just going to add a little bit more. Again, we're going to add water. I'm going to remove the water because I don't want this to drip. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to stamp this here. So Jessie, you've seen videos with Play-Doh. I tried it. Such fun texture stamping. Okay. Was the Play-Doh dry? Or was it while it was still, you know, pliable stuff? You know, Play-Doh. Because that sounds like fun. Chips and donuts, Biddy. Really? Okay. You know, I can't watch. I think I've gained 10 pounds going on here. My goodness. You all are fun. You all are absolutely fun. So you can see I've got that one bold sentiment, but that's okay. So just adding these specks of color going across. And we can just cut that specifically because that can be our sentiment right there. Oh, Biddy's purging. Oh my. Do you really purge, Biddy? I try to. I think I'm purging if I like maybe get rid of a couple things. but not everything, just say. And then that kind of makes me feel good. Just say. But opposite. Okay. All right, Jesse, that sounds really cool. Okay. So there we go. That is the way that you can do a masterboard with your stamps, just to give that background. Now, I do want to add, we're going to stop with the scorched timber. I'm going to come in with some more aged, some of the forest, and here's the saltwater taffy. I'm going to put that right there. I don't know what that's going to do, but I think it's going to be interesting. And now what we're going to do is we are just going to have fun with our colors. Add water to these. And while they're wet, we're going to add different colors to them, because why not? Again, I'm just taking the tip of my brush onto that. There's that purple. Now, if some of the text is under or going through that leaf, yes, we will lose that. It's okay. We have it coming out on the other side. Just going to drop some red into that one. Come back in with the green. And you can see I am slopping. It's a technical term. Watercolor down. And then just adding in some other colors. I really like this red and green, actually. I'm liking it. Alright, so this one here, I'm going to add aged mahogany. I'm going to add some more water to it, because water does cool things when you put that down. And here comes a little bit of the salt water taffy. It's very light, but it's not bad. And you can see now I'm just flicking that color down in there to get the differences. Now we'll go full bore color on that one. I got to keep my head tilted to the side, so if you all saw me right now, you'd be laughing hysterically, because that's how I can see the lines of the image. I'm going to mix together the saltwater taffy and the aged mahogany and the forest green together. See what we get. Oh, I like that color. It's like a burnt orange. Playing with colors are fun. You never know what you're going to get. I'll add a little bit of purple to that one. These are always my go-to colors when it comes to fall. Oops, got the one down here at the bottom. This I added the forest green and villainous potion together. And these colors are getting lighter the more and more I'm adding water to them. There we go. I like it. It's very different. I know. I know, very different. All right, I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to let this dry because we're going to cut this up. And that's pretty much how you can do a masterboard. Now, I do also like to take water and literally splatter water on top of this because that will do something as well. That'll create water spots and all of the different things that you can do. All right, let's real quick play with the snowflakes onto, we're going to be a little bit more controlled with our snowflakes. I need my block, and I lost the backing to my stamp. No, I didn't. I'll clean those in a little bit. Now, these are what our panels look like so far that we've done. So that's the fall. And let's do the winter. Now, for the winter, I'm going to use, yes, you guessed it, Uncharted Mariner. Or, yeah, Mariner. I think that's how you say that. Yeah. I'm going to pull in that one. And I'm going to get some of these away, or else I'm not going to be able to remember where they go. I'm not going to use the purple. We're done with scorched timber. Now, let's see. And I'm going to pull in pine needles. I think those two. And I'm going to keep evergreen bough out. All right. So we've got that. So, cool, right? We're going to let these dry. They are still drying. So you can either have your messy backgrounds, or you can have a clean and simple. But you know vintage photos coming on that. I'm just giving a good, fair warning. Here's the background we're going to use. I know you can't see it because I'm rolling it like there's no tomorrow. And this is the one where we took the fan brush and just scroll down. Oh, zoom in on those other two. What, the leaves, Sean? Which ones? Tell me which ones. Sorry, I got into it. Okay, so here's... I know, Desiree, I can see that small white... Okay, sure. Okay, don't you use your capitals to me, young man. I'm just kidding. So here you go. Close enough? So this is where we stamped. We added some water. This was the first stamping. This is a second generation. And then we just kept on adding colors. I love the way these three colors mold together and change. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. So combining colors can be awesome depending upon what you use. And then this here is what we did on the ink smoosh background that I had in my stash. So we got some white flecks going on there. And we just added a deeper tone of colors sitting in the back there. And then here is just the complete Mod Podge of a um, masterboard that you can get. That's just got all of this glimmer, and it can just be something that just sits in the background. It can be striped, it can be tags, it can be whatever you want. All right, now this one here you got close up on that again, fan. So now we're going to work on this one. You're funny, Sean. You're very welcome, Sean. Absolutely, Dawn. Please try this. All right. Biddy, are you serious? Okay, so I'm seeing something in the chat where Biddy's saying that, Biddy, who are you singing Rockabye Baby to? I'm just, you know what? I'm getting visions in my head. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Good morning, Amelia. I was told to shout. Yes, perfect. Too funny. Okay, so let's start working on this. These are the two colors that we're going to work with. We're going to work with Pine Needles, and we're going to work with Uncharted Mariner. Now, with the snowflakes, you've got three different. I had so much fun creating these. And again, I need to say thank you again. It's been a little bit into the video. And for everyone that purchased these stamp sets, thank you so much. As I said, I listened to feedback that I got, and I love getting feedback. Um, and I think you guys did really enjoy these. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It just really does bring a smile when I know so many are getting these and they're going to have fun creating them and all of that fun stuff. Oh, please fit. Oh, of course not. Really? Do they even make that big of a... yes, they do. This acrylic block's going to give me a problem. I just know it. It's too thin. Okay, so from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Brings a smile to my face. Okay. That was our intermission part. So what I'm going to do, when you have images in your stamp set, and you've got these different sizes of images. So we've got a large snowflake and we've got a medium and a small. Let's just say that, okay? And when you're doing something like this to chop up into your cards and to make into whatever it is you want to make, you want to stamp with your largest stamp first and then work your way down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stamp this 3 times. And, you know, it's pretty much going to go here, here, and here. And then we're going to fill in with the smaller ones. So we'll move down to the medium one, and then we'll move down to the small one. I find that works best so that you can get a better layout. A lot of people say you should start from the center and work your way out. You can do that as well, but I still do suggest start with your largest stamp first, because then you know it's going to get in there. Now, this is still going to go off the page because, again, you don't want to keep everything inside because then you'll have to trim it down. When we stamp off the page, it gives the item movement. As weird as that sounds, it just allows for that movement to come in. I'm also going to, yeah, I am going to pull in Evergreen Bough. So we're going to come in that with the center. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to spritz, and every once in a while, in so many spots, I'm going to come in with pine needles. And, oh, okay, I thought I couldn't get that open. And then finally, Uncharted Mariner. And again, I've never seen contamination when I do this. Or, again, I don't notice it. So, we're going to spritz twice. Make sure it works. So I spritz off. I'm going to clean around this because I'm not touching the stamp, because this block is just going to give me problems. I just know it. Alright, I'm going to flip off. I'm going to come over, and we're going to go straight down. We're going to wait a little bit, let it go into our paper so that it can absorb just a little bit. Anthony, I hope you have a great day. And there's the food again. So Anthony is having an omelet. Jennifer, hello. All right. Oh, I really hate these blocks. Okay. Ta-da! I need to put something on this board. All right. Now, I want to keep this one cleaner. And here's what I mean by that. Very grunge. Absolute, pure grunge. I love, hello Denise. I love the grunginess of this, but it's not for everybody. We can still, though, do the same techniques, because here, for me, this is clean and simple when it comes to this one. Here, this is going to be the middle ground. So what I like to do is take my microfiber cloth and just dab it. I'm not taking off all the color, I'm just dabbing. And now I'm going to go back in with fresh color. I'm going to come in with the pine needles every so often. And then we're going to just fight with the Uncharted Mariner. So we're going to spritz twice. I'm going to flip this off my project, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to stamp this here. We're going to go straight down and push. So, checking in here. That's a question. I got to make, oh my god, we're still talking about food. Alright, Denise, any chance of getting a craft space for sometime? Yes, yes, because my room has completely changed from the previous tour that I had. So, a different look. I still like it. I don't have as much water, so now I'm just going to come in with more color. And again, there is no rhyme or reason. That cap is just making me nuts. There's just no rhyme or reason on where I'm putting the colors. I am just slapping them on. Some may have more green, some may have more blue. Add a little bit more water. We're turning it off our project. I'm going to come over here now, and we are going to do that. I need to find a really large block. So yes, I can. I'm actually still, it's almost done, actually. There was a whole gut process that happened. So we've got 3 different looks here. All right. So now I'm going to dab this one away. Clean it. And now we're going to come in with the smaller ones. So we just have a hint of the snowflake in the back. Now I'm going to go to the medium one. I can get rid of that horrible plug. And we can put this here. The other thing that you want to do too, when it comes to when you're stamping like this, is you want to make sure that you're turning, turning your image to get the different look for it. And then we're just going to come in with a little bit of blue. Now, because I know of all the color that's on this, I'm going to come over to this side because I know it's going to look close to that and not these. So again, trying to get that balance. And we're going to put this, what is that on my block? Right in here. And we're going to push down. Hope, are you planning to use these back? I am, Dawn. So yeah, we are going to finish this up. Where am I at with time? Okay. To cut these up, and I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to make. Yes. So we've got that. I am going to add some more colors to these. Again, I don't worry if there's water on these as well. The water does not and is not going to affect, or I haven't noticed. I have to keep saying that. My stamp. I do, though, like to dry it or wipe away the excess around the stamp without touching the stamp. Less drippy. This one I'm going to put up here. Again, letting it sit. Jennifer, yes, yeah, the Uncharted Mariner, for me, it's a tie when it comes to Uncharted Mariner and Villainous Potion. The new colors that he came out with are just, I don't think that, the only one I wasn't too like, oh yeah, this was great, it was Prize Ribbon. It's a beautiful blue, but I'm like, okay. And I want this to go here. Now you can see this one and this one, they're stamped very similar. So again, always remember, I need to listen to myself, you always do want to try to turn your stamp because you're making that stamp, believe it or not, look different. It gives it a different feel. All right, everyone, Biddy is now trapped in her craft room. Not that that's a bad thing, but I am envisioning this. And I can't help but laugh. Oh my god. Oh, I am so cruel. I know. We're going to, everyone's envisioning her not being able to get out of the room. It's like when you paint the floor and you paint yourself in the corner. It's like, okay, now how do I get out of here? I stick with the rule of threes. He's probably also hearing me laugh hysterically, Biddy. I'm just saying. We stick with the rule of threes. At least that's what I do. So I don't know if anyone doesn't know what the rule of three is, but again, it's what our eye is attracted to when it comes to that. So the rule of thirds, all right? When you look at a picture, you can divide it into 9 sections, and you'll very rarely will you see a picture with something directly in the center. And that's kind of why when I make a card, I push something down a little bit, or I push it up a little bit, or off to each side, or I'll catty corner it just a little bit, because that's more pleasing to my eye. Now, there are many as well that must have it in the center when it comes to certain elements. For me, I always apply the rule of thirds is the number of items that are on my card. So if I have florals, I've got to have 3, 5, 7, 9. Can't have 8. Can't have an even number. So here you can see I've got 3 large ones, and now I've got 4 of the middle ones, and now I'm going to put the third one down into this design. So we've got 3, and then we're going to have 5. So that's why, every once in a while I'll pause and count. I'm actually counting when it comes to that. Now, I also do count as well my embellishments. I always have an odd number of embellishments as well. And we are going to squeeze her right there. Okay. Yeah. I'm still envisioning it, Betty. But let's face it, we've all done that, right? I've done it. So again, you all have heard me before talk about when I redid my room. Um, I literally, and I do not recommend it to anybody to do your crafty space all at once. I do not recommend it. It is not for the faint at heart. Nope. It is a tedious process. Now, unfortunately, I had to do it all at once because furniture was coming in. So everything had to be taken out, boxed up and taken out. Now, that was the first purge. I real quick, and in 2 days, the whole room was moved out. The whole room. I took up my dining room, my living room, spare room, part of the basement, and part of our bedroom with boxes. The dining room was completely packed from the floor to on top of the table. And I kid you not. I kid you not. And I am not in any way boasting, bragging, or anything else of what I got. Guys, remember, I do run a business with custom orders that come through as well. So it was just amazing. And again, 2 days, not a problem. Oh, yeah. Could absolutely get through it. Very easy to tear everything and take everything out. Furniture got in, was able to clean, felt good to clean. Now we're just going to fill in with the smaller one. And we're going to make sure that they have different colors, different feels. with it. To get everything back, I had taken 3 days off from work. Figured plenty of time. Absolutely plenty of time. Nope. Absolutely not. No. I think the room was finally where I could say that it was back into a full bore process. It took 8 months to actually get that through. Because, again, you're going to go through everything. You're going to go through all of your items, and you do. It's the best time to do a purge, to look at, okay, am I using this, or is this something that I forgot when it comes to all of those things. Again, we want to turn and not line up and place down. So yeah, it took a while. Now I'm just doing the fine nitty-gritty, and for reasons that you will know once I make the announcements that we have. There are just some awesome things. Well, again, at least I'm excited about them. All right, so this one here, we're going to add just a little bit to the center, and then we'll come in on the outside. So what I'm also doing with the small one here, I'm also looking at, okay, what colors are where? Do I want to have more of the green? Do I want to have more of the blue? Just to fill those gaps in and to give it those differences, the uniqueness of the colors. When I'm pulling this off of the camera, I'm really pushing this away and having the water coming down lightly. Again, turn your stamp to give it that different look. And then I think I want that one to be a lot of green. And we are going to squeeze this one in, or at least we're going to try. I keep turning it. It's not like it's going to work. But you know what? We're going to be okay if it crosses over. And we're going to do some green on that, and we're going to do this one really blue, and I think we're just going to fill that in. And I lost my cap. All right, here we go. And we're going to put this one down here. And one more. And yep, I just counted. And I think this one, I'm going to come around the outside. And a little bit with that. That. And we're going to try to squeeze this one in here. I'm going to turn it slightly and lift. There we go. Now, note too that you can also, with some of these, so after you stamp it, you can take your water and spray it. These colors will move. They will absolutely move and create a different style of a design. Yes, they will do that. Now, what I'm going to do before I get this out of here is And you all know what's coming. We are going to add the blizzard. Is she still? Biddy, have you found a path yet outside your room? Just, guys, you know what I'm picturing? I'm picturing her standing in her room and just spinning in a circle and saying, "How am I going to get out of here?" Just saying. Oh, I'm sorry, Biddy. You know I love you. But these are the things that I'm envisioning. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my fan brush. I'm gonna add water to these because I do want these really watered down. When I do the splatters, I'm not looking for the splatters to be prominent. The splatters to me are background. Yes, it is still wet, and that's okay because to me that's just going to add even more interest. And yes, as Biddy says, yep, we love Tim Holtz so much that we purchase a cardboard box. I'm good with big blotches. I'm good with small ones. It doesn't matter. To me, blotches are blotches. That was silver acrylic paint. I think acrylic paints are fantastic for um, your blizzards and your splotches. And for me, you know, again, I do love the blizzard. I am keeping an eye, though, on how much I am putting down here because we don't want to cover up all of our work, but it is snowflakes, right? Just saying. And then finally, now that I've got those down, now I come over with water. Yes, I actually splatter with water. And what water does is it smooths out any big blotches that are there. It reignites the snowflakes that we've got down to give us an even more watercolored effect. Okay? So we can have fun with that. Now, I am going to set this aside to dry. Yes, you have seen me use a heat gun and everything else with that. But I honestly love to let these pieces and ink smush backgrounds to dry on their own. It's like when we say watercolor, let it do the work. Don't overwork it. Just drop it in, let it bleed. Um, or not bleed, but let it do what it does. Same thing with pattern paper. We let it do what it does because it's already done for us. It does the work. As you do this, this will continue as this water gets into the paper. It's going to move these colors and it's going to give you those blooms, those areas of droplets. I am not one to lift these droplets up. I like them to just dry naturally because I like those hard edges. So just my thought, but I really like that. Almost to the point where I don't want to cut it. Just saying. But we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it. All right, I set that off to the back to dry. I'm going to just move these things around. I'm going to get my water off the table. Biddy, have you gotten yourself unstuck? Or are you still under the desk? Because if I have to call your husband, I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm going to be laughing way too hard. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. I'm just clearing off spaces here. Because I'm going to have to cut paper down. All right. Let's make some cards. Finally, right? All right, first let me get a sip of my coffee. Okay, she lost her phone now. She's just... Okay. Let's look at this. I really like this panel. And I like this panel. So I'm going to measure it. So this is 4 by 7. Okay. And this one is, let's say, 4.5 by 6. This way I won't forget. Yes, my handwriting is horrid. I apologize for that. All right, let's grab some card bases. Okay. So this base here, I got these a long time ago. Anybody remember AC Moore's? Nope, I am making cards right now, Ave. Yeah, if you gotta go, you have to catch the replay. But I am just on a roll. These are 5.5 by 5.5. And if anybody remembers, Biddy. Oh, Biddy, you and I need to get on a phone call, by the way. Yeah. AC Moore's was great. It was down the street from me, which was dangerous. But what was wonderful with them, okay, I grabbed nothing but envelopes. Really? Okay. Was they had card bases. That's a 7 by 7. And these two are 7 by 7, but I am going to cut them down into 5 by 7s. And I finally found them. So, yay. It was awesome. All right. So I'm going to take these two and I'm going to trim them down. I keep these strips because this is thick cardstock and perfect for sentiments. So AC Moore closed many years ago, so very upsetting. And then Tonic Studio has had their card blank and envelope packs, and when they would go on sale, they were my passion. All right, Sean, have a great day. Enjoy. Glad you're back safe. Jesse, yeah, I loved AC Moore's. They had great bulk stuff that you could get. Then Tonic came in and they had their card blanks and envelopes, and they did the sizes that I like, the 5x7, the 6x6, and the 7x7s. And when they would go on sale, oh, their sales were amazing. I would stock up. I do not believe that they are doing their card bases anymore. I believe that they are um, stopping production of them, which is very upsetting. Okay, so this is a quarter of an inch on each side. Um, and I just happened to be on the site, and boy, they had a sale that was unbelievable. So, yep, bought a bunch. So I'll take the 7x7 card base and I will cut it down to a 5x7 card base. So here I'm just eyeballing the trims until I see what I want. And I'm happy with that one. Alright, so we got that one, and we got that one. And this is pretty much what I do. I gather my bases, and then I just start chopping and cutting and all of that fun stuff. Alright, so I've got 5x5, 5x7. I do want to take this one. I'm going to take that to 4.5. And remember, guys, I like big cards. Now we all got that song in our head. I know. I know. So that's 7. What did I cut that to? I cut that to 4.5. And I want that to 4.5. So that's going to go on that one. And then we'll do one more. Now, okay, that's just cool. So you could just take that and put that right there. Or it's a pocket for a journal. And it says grateful. Again, you never know what you're getting until you get there. These I am going to cut up into tags. So here, this is 5.25. So let's go with 2.75. And this is 7. So we're going to go with 3.5. 3.5. Going to stack them up. I don't care what direction everything is going. I'm going to get my template. The tag template that I made. I'm going to line that up. And we're going to cut. We're going to take it, we're going to flip it. We're going to push it over here. Cut. And now I've got autumn tags, which would be great on front of a card. You can do that. You can do that. You can layer a couple of them. But each one is different and unique, right? Yes. So this one has that look. You could add more watercolor to this. That one has that look. It's okay that the grateful is not prominent on them. They're each different and unique. You could take 3 of these and back them and put them on the front of your card. So these are great card fronts as well. So let's just keep those there for right now. Let's check out our snowflake background. Let's see if that has dried. It has not. So it's still a little damp, but that's okay. We'll let that go for a little more. We're going to get these cards together and we're going to see where we're at with this, and then I may just blot it so that we can start cutting this up. All right, let's hold those bases back. So when it comes to, we are creatures of habit. And I will say I am. I am a creature of habit. So when it comes to um, fall, it's deep purple, it's browns, it's gold, it's deep greens. Those are the colors that I look for when it comes to my fall cards. If I'm making fall cards. So here I'm going to dig in. That's black. So here's a deep green. There's a deep purple. Nope. Yep. Yep. And we can take create a background using our solid cardstocks. Please know that the pieces that I'm using right now are scraps. Before somebody says, okay, this is wasteful. Okay, it's not. Just, and all of these scraps here will be saved. Okay. So I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to use my 2-inch U-line tape. Lots of water went on this panel. It's warped. It's just all over the place. I just find my U-line tape flattens it out and I don't have to worry about it. And yes, I literally get this from U-line. It is an unforgiving tape. These are just the normal things that I say about it. All right, I'm going to place this down onto the craft paper and I'm going to create a small border of the craft. If I can get, okay. And I just want a very thin border. And I'm going to push down and see. It's flat. And then I'm just going to eyeball the cut around. You can measure. I hate measuring. Be very I really do. You know, it's for me it's like alcohol markers. I don't want to think. You all know what's coming next. Everyone sing it. We've got our vintage photo that will always, always make a show. And it's going to go down on the edge. And it's going to go along the edge of all of the papers that we tore. Yes, even the purple, because it's helping to roughen them up. All right. Now, and most of you know me as well. I do not, well, for this one, I'm not going to put a sentiment on it. I do want to tear this down this side, though, because I would like that to go there. I want that one to go there. And I want that one to go there. So that, when we place this, boom. All right. So now we're going to use our glue. And I'm not going to take the glue up to the edge. I like the texture. I like it when these pieces are lifting up, and in a way will get beat up as it goes through the mail or the recipient gets it. I am very much into the grunge. I do like it. And if there's the way for me to add it to the card, I will. Sorry for that scratching sound. So I am making sure that I'm coming close to the edge with all of these. And of course this one I don't have. So I'm good if they left. So now we've got that hole in there. I like that cut. And now we're just going to put that down as well. Now, if you want, you can stamp around it. I do just like large cards. Yes, they are more postage. But even if I do send a card, I tend to write a novel. So to have space, that's for me. So there's our first card. And that is a 7x7. Our next one, I am going to put vintage photo around this one as well. I need to gather these because I keep these. Put those in my strippy scraps. Yes, I've named my scrap bins. Alright, now this one, I want to pull out that dark. So let me get some dark brown. is like a gray brown. Oh, wonderful. And we'll get that down. I do like to create mats as well. I think mats are awesome. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get this down onto our panel. And I'm going to pull that in just a little bit more. Again, just eyeballing it. See? Flat. Again, don't like to measure. I'm just going to cut up. This one pretty much already does have a sentiment on this as well because of that grateful. Again, sorry for that scratching. But I think once you get a dark, so chose a dark to match the scorched timber. So scorched timber is like a gray and black mix when it comes to that. So by pulling that, and once we put it on here, we're now starting to see the leaves a little bit better. You know, before they were kind of lost. We broke all of that out to do that. Now, for this one, I do like this, and I do want a very thin border of this one to come around. I am going to put vintage photo around it, but lightly. I know y'all thought I'd never see this. I know. I'm hearing this. Although I haven't checked the comments recently. Alright. And I'm going to use this again. And again, very thin. And we're going to cut around it. Again, all we have to do is take our time. All right. Yep, I'm thinking. I know, right? Again, we should always have fun with our colors. don't ever think that you can't, yes, add colors. So, what I'm going to do is I want to create strips. So I'm just going to create a collage with the background with these colors. So when you've got those odd shapes of solid cardstock, because we just cannot get rid of them, collage with them. Glue them down, get them set. They don't have to be the full length, but we can just get them down. And what I want to do is I do want to fill up the majority of the back of this. Now I'm going to cut off the edges so that the whole back is covered. I do also want the vintage photo to go around for each piece, because that's how each piece will be divided. So say you've already got that line that's going on around it. Now the only thing that I've got to make sure is where my panel is going to hit. So we're going to see this coming back and forth multiple times. Always check your panels, your card bases, because hello. Woof. Yeah. Only me. And again, we're going to have, that piece is just never long enough, right? Right. Nope, that's not going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. Notice how I keep saying, nope, that's not going to work. Wrong panel. It's when you really get into it. Now, I am going to pull in, when it comes to the red glitter, I'm going to pull in that rule of thirds again. So that when this sits here, we've got 3 pops of that. I am going to use, yep, cleaning it up the way the best I know how, just pushing everything off to the side so I can see. I am going to use a piece of fun foam. And I do save the scraps of these as well, because they're great for sentiments, the backs of a sentiment. And this has turned into a long session. And I have not kept up on questions or whatever. Betty, you know I'm just going to call your phone and just let it ring. Oh, too funny. So, yet, oh. See, it's very strong tape. It even sticks to itself like anything. We can collage with anything. It doesn't have to be with pattern papers or something that we've created. We can use solid cardstock and create that geometric or whatever you want to call that type of a collage. And it's great for those scraps that, look, yes, can get rid of small scraps. Yes. And I can feel okay with that. Now, the question is, do I? No. I do not. All right, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip her over and I'm going to cut along the card base so that it's even. I know the sides are right because I had her upside down. There we go. So now I'm going to check where the opening is. See, I almost did it again. Oh, love it. And I want this to be front. And we are just going to eyeball the center. And there we go. Red is not something that we grab for when it comes, red glitter is not something that we grab for when it comes to fall. Why not? Red is one of the predominant colors of fall. Why not take those scraps and add them to your card base when it comes to that? Okay? So now we've got our falls. Let's check in on our, it's like a news crew. Let's check in on the snowflakes. Let's see what they're doing and what they're up to. They are drying. There's just a couple spots that are not. So I'm going to come in and dab it. The majority of it is dry. It's like I'm swatting flies. And I am going to hit it just finally with my heat tool. And we're going to get these going. And then I will let you all go. I didn't think I was going to go this long, but I should have realized. But at least we're all keeping Biddy company while she's stuck in her room. Just saying. You're all waiting for the snowflakes. I'm sorry. Okay, we're getting these. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you spend money. I really don't. I think there's always an alternative to something else that we have that's cheaper. Right? Right. Okay. I really like this one. I like the way, and you can see what the water did. And you'll see it, like, this is the water droplet. This here is a water droplet. These in here are the water droplets. And you can see that it took the white acrylic paint. It took the silver paint, and it moved it. Here's another of the water droplets. When you think it's not going to react, it will. These are all the water droplets in there. This here, and you can see how it just pushed the acrylic paint across it as well. So don't think you can't use water as a splatter. You can. Again, I like to do it after I get the white down, if there's another color that I'm using or other colors that I'm using, and then I come in with the water and just go over the whole piece. And you get these different effects. I didn't have this part in the background before, all of these water droplets, when it came to the ink smushed background. And now I do. So it adds another layer of texture when it comes to that and when you do that. Okay? All right. I actually see. So now what I do when I have a panel like this, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, what size cards do I want to make? Now I have 3 panels here. I have a 5.5 by 5.5. I have a 5 by 7, and I have a 7 by 7. I think I'm going to go right down the center. I can't find my cutter. Where did I put my cutter? I found my cutter. All right, we're going to go right down the center. So that means that's 6, because this is a full 12. Yep. So we're going to take this. Now, these never fit correctly in the small guillotine, but that's okay. I just line it up. Make sure it's up there, hold it down, slice. And then I'm going to cut this 6 again. Sorry for the shaking. So that's going to sit on that. And then, so here's our 5x7. That's curious. What happens if I take the 4? So 4, that's 5. And then that's 6. So that's going to go like that. We're still holding that. And then this. I'm going to split it. So I've got 3. So I've got 3. And then I'm going to splice here. So if I've got 3, 2's that. I need 2 1/4. Yep, and I measured that wrong, didn't I? That's okay. We've got that. And I need another quarter to come off. And then we've got that. Jeez. All right. I keep that. So here what we have left is this. We can make this into a Christmas tag. All right. So what can we do with these? You can see that with this one, what I want to do is I'm going to get this up here. And I'm just going to let these papers be the way that they are. I'm not going to add, nope, not adding vintage photo. No. I know you're shocked. And what I'm going to do is get down my tape. And I'm going to get this large one set first. But you want to make sure that this part is here. So I'm going to use the card base as the border. And then this here, now actually if I put that in, it's the perfect size. So I need to take 1/4 of an inch off of this. Because I want that break in there. And this is pretty flat, so I'm going to use my liquid adhesive. And we're going to get that set in place. All right, we're going to set that aside first. This, I just want to put on a piece, and I'm hoping I have a big enough piece, which of course I don't. Hang on. I'm going to get a piece of teal. And I want to cut this to 5 by 7. And let's see if I did this right. Now I'm paranoid. All right. Yes, I did. And again, I'm going to use fun foam because I also want this propped up. No, I don't. I changed my mind. I'm going to take my distressing tool. You could use scissors. You can use a craft knife. If you're doing this, please be careful. I will never do this again with scissors. I tell you, I'm a klutz. You could also get a similar look by tearing your paper. And you get lots of fun fuzzies. Have to vacuum today. Okay. I'm going to put that there. I am also going to take this and I'm going to put this up onto the craft cardstock with a thin border. So again, I can't stress enough, play with your colors. I do this myself, so I will speak on behalf of me. I can get myself pigeonholed into, okay, this color's got to go with this, and this color has to go with this, and so forth. Have fun playing with them. Your eye, or what you see, will say, no, that's just not going to work. Doesn't look right. It's off. And we're going to put this here. I do want to have a small border going around this. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around it. And I'm going to distress again. Because your colors, what really makes a color go together, in my opinion, is the hue of that color. Is it a cool color? Remember, even though it's a yellow, yellows have a warm and a cool tone. So if you put together a cool blue and a warm yellow, yeah, that's where it's going to look odd. Now, very lightly, I'm just going around on the craft to highlight the distress. I know, 2 in one day. I know. Now, I know that this is 5 by 7, so I can just take this, and I want to use my tape again, because I want to make sure that it's secured on there, because I am going to take, and I'm going to tear. I love tearing paper. You guys know that. There's nothing like tearing paper. And we're going to set that down. and we're going to carefully tear. Now, I could have done this before I got the panel onto this base. The problem is I would not have known where I need to tear at. You could also make your panel bigger if you're like, okay, yeah, I can't do what she's doing, and just take that tear all the way down the side. I get it. So you could make it bigger so that it is easier to control. You can see I'm letting my thumb really poke into this, and when I feel that it's going to go too far in, like there, I just go with it, and I'm just going to edge it back out. So to me, what I see with snowflakes is frost, is that cold, and you get that sharpness of the snowflake. So that's why I'm looking and wanting to do this. You could do just two sides. You could do just the top and the bottom. You could do just the one side, and when you set it on your card panel, it looks like that. There are no rules in what we create, how we want it to look like. Just have fun with it. Now, also, tearing paper this way is not good if you have hand issues. This does cause some pain and discomfort because, you know, our hands usually don't do this. There we go. Okay, these I do not keep. I'm just saying. And then we will get all the fuzzies off, and we will get this down. Yeah, let's put it down upside down. All right, that's that one. For this one, you can keep it simple. When you collage, you don't have to fill up the entire background. So using what we have on our desk, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to take that, and all I'm doing is cutting them into squares. These happen to be, looks like 3 inches. So I'm using up the paper that's on my desk. And now I have this. So this strip actually measures just over 2. So, okay, we'll keep doing that. So this is going to have, so I can put that there, and that there, that there, and that there. Let's look at our size. So, okay, let's make sure that that's going to sit there. And what I'm actually going to do, so a challenge that you can give yourself is to create your cards like we started. You've got all of these beautiful papers, and yeah, it opens, and all of that in front of you. And then when you grab your solid cardstock, like I did, limit yourself to your colors and try to create different backgrounds for each of your cards, but only using the scraps that are sitting on your table. That will, because I had a full sheet of this, I think it's called Peacock by Concord and Ninth. So I'm going to take that right up to the corners. And again, we don't have to have all of this filled in. And I'm going to look at this. Now we could keep the white there. Now there is another scrap on this table somewhere. I've got to find it. Ah, found it. And that's this one here. So hopefully I will be able to make this work. I'm going to cut these a smaller, a quarter of an inch smaller. Oh, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I really am not liking that white. Where's my scrap of craft? And I know this is shaking my camera when I do this. So now we have a geometric look. And again, these are just scraps, literally, that were sitting from offcuts from our time today, which we are almost done. And then we can just layer these here. And again, you're also, when we do that, if you do that, child, you're creating a card set. So it would be a great gift for somebody. And I'm going to scratch up the edge on this, but lightly. So just dragging down. And setting that down in the center. Now I'm going to hold this for a little bit. I need you all to know that we are keeping Biddy company. She's trying to dig herself out. Okay, now we have that one. And this one here, I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut a strip. I didn't even measure it. And it's like the card that I had shown in... Okay. That's amazing that I just did that. That is perfectly going to be inset in this card. Oh boy. Yeah, that'll never happen again. And I'm going to take it straight across. We're going to wiggle that right on in there. Yeah. And then I'm going to cut off that end. And there you go. All right, so let's recap. I'm going to just put a few things away so I can see. You know, it's amazing. If we could ever pan out as we do all of this, guys. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. All right. Hang on. It's not like the last time where I could just take it and just push everything off the table. I can't do that this time. Alrighty. So I'm sure, what is it? Close to 3 hours. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry for all of this. Here we've got we made 3 snowflake cards. Again, using water reactive dye inks. You can stamp and get the watercolor look. Put your ink down onto your stamp, spray it just a couple times. I wouldn't go more than 2. Unless you want more of a watercolored look, then you could go to 3. But again, we're not drenching the stamp. We just want to lightly mist it and add that water, and we can stamp on top of any background. Do you have to have an ink smooshed background? Absolutely not. You could do the plain watercolor paper, which you'll see with the leaves. So here's a 5x7. We've got lots of texture with tearing and just distressing your edges. And again, just creating mats. I love creating mats for my cards. I think it helps the design to stand out and just pop itself off. Same thing here. We can use our scraps to just create a design in the back and put our panel right on top of it. These cards can be used for anything when it comes to the winter months. Or if you know somebody's winter that's not with what we follow in the States. Again, you can look at that and check all of that out. And then finally, we took a panel, simply put it on our card base, split it, and added a color of the cardstock in between. So you can do a lot of different things when it comes to your solid cardstocks. Just like we did when it comes to the leaves. Very grungy. Yep, not for everybody. Absolutely get it. I love grunge. It is what I go for. I love the way that this sentiment just sits right across there and gets lost and entangled into the leaves. I think that is just absolutely cool. Not everybody's going to like that. Can you do that with just black ink or a brown ink? Yes, and you'll get the same effect as well. All right. Then we have this one where we took one of our watercolored looking ink smushed backgrounds, did the same thing with the gold embossing, but we added colors to the leaves to help them to stand out, just more so on that busy background. Take some scraps, rip them up, put them onto the back to accent the colors that are sitting within your panel. Again, now this is a 7x7 card. Again, I like real estate. I can stamp something here if I want. If I want to put a sentiment on it, it can go right there. And it can go this way. It doesn't have to go this way. I like to do things very differently. And then finally, where we were just having fun and saying, you know what, this is where this video is going to go. It's going to go into ink smushing and watercolor stamping when it comes to our stamps. Again, these techniques can be done with any of the stamps that you already have. And again, for this one, I added red glitter. Why not? It's very difficult for me to get rid of any scraps with any glitter, mirror, satin, or textured cardstock. It's precious to me. I save every bit of scraps. And here you go. Now we can just use it and add it to those cards. So we did 6 cards, 3 of each of the designs. And again, these are the stamps that I had created for the fall winter collection. Again, guys, thank you so much for those of you that stop by here, that watch my videos, that comment, that have bought my stamps, bought my classes, all of that stuff. I cannot say thank you enough. I appreciate you all. I am grateful for you all. And I'm just honored that you guys take the time to purchase these products. If you don't know, there are 2 others. You've got the botanical with the big smile, and you've got all of these here, and then you've got the ornaments, where you've got 3 separate ornaments, and you've got the branch that goes up as well. So these stamps are in my shop. I will try, once this is done, I'll add the link down below. And I see Biddy must have found her phone or something because she's able to type. So thank you, Biddy, for putting that link in there. So they are still available. I will say this, there are a couple of designs that are getting low in stock, but don't fear. There will be more coming in as I see them, see the orders coming through. None of my stamps out of the 12 will or have been retired yet. So if you're interested and you don't see one there, please don't hesitate to email me, let me know, and then I'll be able to give you more information. So guys, I hope you have a great day. I hope you had fun while we did all of these. We got 6 cards done. But again, we did ink smushed background, a ink smushed background. Then we stamped on top of it. We let that dry. We worked on ones that were in our stash. This I also find therapeutic, to do ink smush backgrounds and just have them in my stash so that when I need something, I can pull it out. Guys, go enjoy your day. We will continue to laugh at Biddy as the saga will continue. Will she get out today, or will it not be until she has to leave for vacation? The saga will continue, and let's see if we find out during the week. To everyone, have a great day, have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep everyone in your thoughts as the weather just continues. And I'm so grateful for those that I was very fortunate to hear from, to let me know that you're all doing okay. Guys, have a good one. I love you all. Thank you again for everything that you do for me, whether it's a thumbs up or whether it's just a comment down below. Thank you so much. Take care and enjoy.